Okay, I'm gonna try something new. I feel so awful because you had asked me for this tarot reading and I forgot to do it. So I'm just gonna try this format and see how it works. And I also realized that I'm just a floating torso, but it doesn't matter because it's just about the cards anyways, and nobody wants to see me in the morning. Okay, so I should have asked better questions. When I pulled the cards, I just kind of said, hey, what is the energy that it exists right now, and this is what came out. So I pulled 3 cards, not necessarily in the order of past, present, future. They're just 3 cards, and then I have each of those cards clarified by another. So all I'm going to do is read you what I see. Even though I have some background information about the conversation we had, I think ultimately, had I not known any of those things, I still would have read this the exact same way. But don't take that as I'm just applying your situation to this. What it is that I'm limited in my ability to read cards because I don't have that intuitive, I mean, this is just a hobby. It's just for fun. Okay, so the first card I pulled for you is the Fool, and it's the very, very first card on the tarot deck, why it's numbered 0. And what it means is that there's a beginning of a brand new something. There is no past here. When we talk about like 9s going into 10s or 10s going into like aces, there's a karmic cycle that has to close in order to get to those. This is not that card. So when you get the Fool card, it means that there's something that is brand new, not related to something in your past, that you are opening yourself up to kind of, with naivete in the best of ways, right? Because we think of naiveness as a negative thing, but in this case, it's a true openness to trying something new, some experience, some new journey, something that you need to just let yourself go of and start on this path. And so this to me kind of speaks this speaks past for you. And this may have been, what had happened, 4 months ago, because it's not related to a cycle that exists. So that's what I pulled first, and then I pulled for you Judgment card. So the Judgment card here is Libra, which I think is crazy, but also Judgment is a number 2 card. So it's about pairings and balances. But what the Judgment card has us do is think about what's going on energetically with us. So we judge ourselves. It could literally be something related to court and legal issues. A lot of readers will tell you that, but not for me. For me, when I always pull Judgment, it's how do we view ourselves, or how do we see the world viewing ourselves? And what are we taking as other people's truths about us? So for the Judgment card, I think what this energy is for you is letting go of what your expectations you've placed on you from outside sources. Only focus about what you internally care about, what internally motivates and drives you. That should be the only kind of judgments that you're making on yourself. So kind of, shutting out everybody else's expectations of what would make a good guy. This is, how do you feel and how do you judge yourself? And this is, Libra energy, which is what you are, which is pretty cool. And then the last card I pulled for you was the Two of Pentacles. So the Two of Pentacles, again, a number 2, pairings and choices. Two of Pentacles is about having to make a hard decision and balancing how do you make that decision, right? So Pentacle suit is earth. It is tangible. It is concrete things that you can touch, and it takes hard work. The Pentacle suit is a hard work suit. So whatever that you are deciding here in this moment, energetically, is a difficult choice, but it's a choice that has to be made in order for you to keep that balance. And Libra energy is all about the scales. It is the balance. So these cards just kind of flew together pretty good for you, I'd say. And then to clarify the Fool card, I pulled for you the Death and the Rebirth card. I did this exactly the same way I do it at work, where I just shuffle until a card literally flies out. And this is what flew out when I was talking about the Fool. This is kind of interesting. People are terrified of the Death card. This is actually Scorpio card. But Death and Rebirth is not a scary thing. It is supposed to be a positive card, right? Because in order for us to move into something new in our life, we have to let go of the past. We have to let go of the things that need to die and fall away. And so Scorpio is all about that. Scorpio is about, how do I start a new life? How do I shed the old and move into something young, youthful, and beautiful? And that is the Scorpio energy in this card. So in order for you to have let go and moved on naively, now what you're finding is that this path that you started doesn't serve you anymore. And so what do you need to do with that is to transform it. It's to make a choice that moves you in a different direction by letting go of old and accepting something new. And that new rebirth, just like rebirth in life, is going to bring you a lot of joy, but it takes a lot of work to transform something. So the death card is, you know, it's a transformation, but it's a positive card, even though it sounds negative. When we're talking about the Judgment card, it's clarified with the Two of Wands. Again, two, I don't know what is with you and twos, but the Two of Wands is about looking back on something. It's about taking the time to look backwards and see what it is that transpired. It's kind of, in the original tarot deck, he's looking over a valley and he's, you know, kind of going through the choices that he made and the life that he's lived, and he's trying to gain some kind of perspective on it, right? So in our judgments of ourselves and our situations and choices we've made, you're looking back through the Two of Wands energy. You're looking back and you are taking in to make those judgment calls. But I would caution you here, because with the Two of Wands, what we do when we look back for too long and we psychoanalyze something too deeply, we don't start our new path. So the longer that you are looking backwards and trying to judge yourself and determine what it is that happened here, you are not moving forward. And so I love this card because she's got the world and she's got like a little, you know, I don't know, I imagine it's like a vision board, right? She's got this VW bus with like a little surfboard. Like, there are adventures and there is something coming in her future, but as long as she continues to romanticize or spend too much time in the past, she's never going to start this journey, which is what ultimately we all need to do, is to keep moving forward. And then with the Two of Pentacles, the choice that needs to be made here, you got the High Priestess, which I think is the coolest card. The High Priestess is also a number 2 card. So pairings and choices is what comes up here for numerology. But what I think is super fascinating is how many times have you come to me and said, hey, I need a reading, I need a reading. Do you have your tarot cards? You, in your choices and how you're like deciding how to live your life, you're really tapping into your spiritual energy. The High Priestess is about, how do we connect with ourselves on a spiritual level? How do we open our minds to be open to the idea that there is somebody trying to tell us something? And it doesn't have to be gimmicky in the sense of, oh, I'm going to a tarot card reader or I'm paying an astrologer. It doesn't have to be that, you know, hocus pocus, if that's not a good word, but you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't have to be that. It can be opening yourself up to receive wisdom and new information from any source. It doesn't have to be a spiritual woo-woo thing. It can be who are the people that you're reaching out to, that you are trying to gain wisdom and insight on a situation. You're tapping into your intuition and saying, I know the answer that I need to do. I need somebody else to give it to me, or I need that validation, like opening up to a friend and having a friend relay back to me what it is that I think I already know I need. But that High Priestess is all about opening yourself up to being vulnerable in that way. So I just thought that was a cool reading. I think it tied into everything that you were kind of worried about and what we were talking about. But what I will pull for you is my favorite, the astrology deck. What I want to do is give you your closing energy, like the energy that I think that you need to have in order to make, you know, whatever this cycle is that needs to close, right? It was a brand new cycle. You tried it. You're now looking back, realizing that maybe this isn't the best choice for you. But that choice is not mine to tell. It's not for me to say this needs to transform and change. No, that's intuitively, you are the only one that can make that choice, right? The cards can only read the energy that's in the air. So I don't know. In the air? I don't think that's right. Anyways, what I'm also going to do is I'll read you the card and then I'll pull out the guidebook so I can give you like full clarity on what the card is saying. But I'm just going to, when I have big cards, they don't just fly out of the deck as easily as my smaller cards. I'll see if one does. Okay, there you go. Ooh, Virgo. Okay, so Virgo is the alchemist. So I'll read you the card. It says methodical, aligned, ritualistic, efficient, insightful, healthy, dutiful, discerning, witchy, subtle, pure, refined, accurate, solitary, curatorial, critical, nervous, and a perfectionist. So Virgos kind of get a bad rap, right? Because they're the perfectionist in terms of like, of all of the signs, they are the most routine. But if there's anything I know about you, is that you are a very routine person, and that solitariness, that is like really what's driving you. So the energy that this card is reading is really, I think, your energy. And so when we talk about like witchy, discerning, subtle, like all that's, you know, whatever, take it how it resonates. But witchy for me, like, is so woo-woo, but it's about opening yourself to accepting answers from different avenues. That's all that tells me. So I'll find you the Virgo card and I'll tell you the exact, a more detailed description. Let me see. Cancer, Taurus, Libra. Virgo comes right before Libra in the tropical zodiac. Okay. So I already read you that. So let me tell you what it says here. So it says, before it was co-opted by the patriarchy, the zodiac's virgin symbol was actually a strong, self-contained, unmarried woman who lived by her own code and never gave it away for free. A far cry from our present-day associations with Virgo as all prim and proper. This untamable witch understands the inherent magic and rhythms of the earth, the pleasures and promises of some purgative solitude, and the divinity in each imperfectly perfect detail of the natural world. Virgo makes the moment in our cosmic evolution when we begin to see ourselves in all our distinctiveness, connecting us to our particular contribution. Virgo assesses strengths and challenges realistically, mapping out a meticulous, curated, oh, I lost my space here, mission crafted from the worthiest of intentions. The sign ruling apprenticeship, Virgo knows that moments of pause, learning, and humility bring us closer to our courageous core. Rather than diminishing our power, this is where we replenish our reserves of radical self-reliance. This is like crazy. Okay, anyways. Virgo sensitive whiskers fill each micro-shifting of the light, each hint of a scent in the breeze. Since the slow crumbling of rocks and smoothing of sand crystals. As a highly strung earth sign, Virgo's healing is also through the physical body, and the more the sign can nourish on a cellular level, the more it can show up ready to serve its highest good. Without a distinctive purpose to serve or garden to tend, Virgo can become critical, nitpicking, and fault-finding as the endless process of refinement becomes a series of not good enoughs. But in its optimum flower, this is the energy of alchemy. Virgo is happiest making everyday magic by using the materials on hand and committing to the careful craft of crystallization that cannot be pushed or rushed. When you pull this card, you're being asked to bring out your microscope and take a closer look. Something in your world is ready for a forensic eye, and you may have to slow down and get quiet for a moment to discover exactly what this is. How's your meditation practice? Building even a few minutes into your day to feel how it really feels to be in your body will help ground and center you now. Same goes for creating some healthful routines when it comes to diet and exercise. Tending to these details will help you access your flow state, that place from which you can manifest magic in each moment. And then it also gives you like a journal prompt if you wanted to. Write about something you love to nerd out on and why it fascinates you. I don't know if you want to do that, but hey, that's what the card's recommending. But yeah, I would say that's your energy. Go forth and make your own decisions. I think intuitively you just need to trust yourself. You don't need to reach out to every avenue to find an answer. I think you ultimately are the one that's going to make that decision. So I hope this helped.